It's all perfect.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I'm just recording there. I'll just take a minute to get into the state. Greetings, this is Zariyah from the Orion Civilization. We are so pleased to meet with you today to deliver this brief transmission on what Orion knows, or the Orion light. The reason that we have decided to focus on this area today is because the lessons of Orion are so relevant to the personal journey that many of you are undertaking in your time-space reality now. And that is not just because there is a symmetry between the patterns and the lessons of Orion and the unfolding of events taking place on Earth now, but because many of you have counterparts and soul fragments that have cycled through the Orion system many times. We would like to share with you a little part of the story of Orion. It was a civilization that embedded itself deep, deep into the question of how to break a matrix that seems paralyzed by power, tension, and conflict. Oppression and control were themes that we grappled with, not just through the course of a period of time or one or two wars. No, it was the defining system of relations on our planet and in our civilization for many millennia. Can you imagine that? So total was the system that we had embedded ourselves into. And for so long did it persist that we became almost incapable of seeing a way to revolutionize the system. Almost. However, in walking down that path of deep control, we finally began to become enlightened, not just to how to subvert a matrix like that, but to the true nature of reality. And we learned what we would describe as three noble truths. Often you hear of Buddhists talking about the noble truths of their existence, and we have something similar in the Orion system. The first truth that we would like to share with you is that your creative potential is the most powerful part of your being. We have described to you before that source is creative power, and that when you create, you are the most powerful expression of yourself. Your creative power is more powerful than any destructive power that could ever try to challenge that. Creative power is the expansive force of the universe. It is what has brought all things into existence. It is the fuel that drives forward your continuation in all of your counterparts, experiences, incarnations, and timelines. It is infinite. It is empowering. It is a reflection of source. It is your most core essence, and it is limitless. The second truth that we would add to that is that your creative power resides inside you. You can be inspired from something that you perceive as outside of you, that you perceive as the material world or another person, but the genesis, the font of your creative power is within. There are many teachers on your planet who in various ways have tried to convey this message to you. Your Yeshua described that the kingdom of God is within you. You have heard of great teachers describe that the change you want to see in the world is the change you ought to be in the world. You are the power and you are the artist. Both of those are within you. The third truth that we uncovered is that nobody can influence the limit of your creative potential that lives inside you. We can reference the laws of manifestation or the principle of your vibration, which cycles higher and attracts a similar vibration. We can refer you to concepts like the idea that your thoughts and your words create your reality. You have this hidden in various messages on your planet. If you look at your Bible stories, the Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Abracadabra is the ancient text that means, as I speak, I create. Before speech is thought, and thought happens inside of you. And nobody or any system or any reality has the power to control your thoughts. Although there have been many systems that have tried, at least to monitor them, they can suggest to you thoughts. They can distract you from your creative thoughts. But no being can control your thoughts. And your thoughts are the genesis of your creations. It was in understanding these three truths that we were able to break out of our matrix of oppression into liberation, limitless, unending, ever unfolding liberation. It was in doing that that we realized that we could recreate the world anew. And so we did. We recreated a new system on the planet Maldek, and we created a lot of components in that system that were more liberating than the ancient Orion system. However, ultimately, we still played out some of the themes that we had been learning about in the Orion system, and Maldek is no more. Earth, in that regard, represents another attempt by the Orion light to use their creative potential to raise their vibration and to think into reality the types of experiences that they prefer to have. And indeed, Earth is a glorious example of that coming into realization. Many of the people who come to this group have deep connections with that ancient Orion system, and their participation in such a joyful way in the Earth project now is really an achievement that has been millennia in the making. It is a celebration for the Orion component of your soul to see you have come this far and you are able to live so creatively, so expressively, and so free. Therefore, when you are challenged by developments in your reality that you see as in some way controlling or oppressive, we encourage you to reflect on the three truths of the Orion light that you have learnt over eons and millennia that rest inside of you as a storehouse of knowledge that you can draw on. And we say, if you draw on them in this timeline now, you will become unstoppable. How exciting. We hope this information has uplifted you and does serve you in some way. If there are any questions, we would be happy to take them.
Yeah, I have a question, please.
Yes.
I am in the process right now of trying to buy some land. And
Yes.
I am noticing a lot of times that I feel intuitively like, oh, no, this isn't the right spot, or, maybe this is a possibility. And I wonder, are there limitations in what I can buy based on perhaps, my life journey and what I'm supposed to, be creating for myself, or maybe like my granddaughter may be living there with me, maybe somewhere certain that she's supposed to be, or anything of that nature? Or is it really just my own free will?
Both concepts in some way are true. Of course, you have free will, you have absolute free will, and therefore anything you want to create, you can. But you are also in this lifetime in service to various beings and yourself included. You are exploring various themes and the different components of that. And that often means that it is synchronous for you to be at a certain location, at a certain time, in a certain place, for a certain co-creation. So therefore, by tuning into your intuition, what you are allowing to surface is the question of whether this is the most synchronous opportunity for you. We don't say that you can't profit from any opportunity. Of course you can, but you do have a very strong intuitive understanding that there are layers of synchronicity that, if aligned correctly, can serve everybody involved. It is true that your granddaughter will have something to do with the hybrid program in terms of the integration of the hybrid children in time. And therefore, there are parts of Earth that, and it does not have to be a particular vortex. It can be a particular part of Earth that you sense is very generative of the flourishing of certain types of activities and relationships that will likely foster this. And it is with your intuitive power that you can discern this. Part of the role of being a grandparent is to take the wisdom that you have discerned and ascertained over many decades, as you would have seen it, and use that to create a pathway for the next generation that is more likely to secure their expansion. That is part of what we really do call service, because you are offering a gift of something you have acquired, such as wisdom, and paying it forward in the service of the next generation. How beautiful and exciting. Therefore, it is not about going into doubt and wondering if you are overthinking things, if you are getting trapped in a loop, but rather being confident that your wisdom is always communicating with you and giving you little messages, that when you find the piece of land that you know it is appropriate for you to purchase or to move to, that you can ask for confirmation and you will receive it. Does this help?
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Land does also, and this is part of the human development in telepathy. It is not just about communicating with other beings, it is about communicating with land. So the land will tell you also if you ask it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Is there any other questions?
Miles?
Hello, Zariyah. It's so nice to have you here.
Hello.
So, Zariyah, I have a personal issue with my body, and that is that I'm not peeing as well as I'd like to.
Yes.
And I've been trying to use all my skills, my psychic skills and my psychic training to address this. And I've read in a book that this issue might be related to stored anger.
Yes.
And I've tried to explore that, and I can't find. I think I've released the anger, but can you give me any insight into this, and maybe an approach a new approach that I could take?
Yes. We would say that the primary reason for many ailments or physical discomforts is that it is trying to communicate to you something. If you ask yourself, how is it serving me? That is one way to try to find out what it is trying to communicate. The other way is to understand that if you think you have found a core belief, such as this is about anger, and you have scanned your system and found that there isn't a part of you that is angry, that you and the issue persists, you can let go of that idea and move on to the next one. Because the issue does persist until you have found the core belief that is driving the persistence of the issue. What it is your body is continuing to serve you by letting you know that what you are focused on is not the issue if the issue is still there. Do you follow?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So then we would say, perhaps in your case, yes, often it is about anger, because you can think of anger as holding something in, as clenching something in, and that you are not allowing yourself to release something. And often that is anger, but it is not only anger. We do not want to discuss in your case in too much detail But we have some clues that there is in childhood, and this is true for many of your generation, issues around shame. This is because the expectations of the cultures that you were reared in were vastly different from perhaps how you sought to express yourself in the world or experience the world. And in particular, this is true for people who do have psychic abilities. There is something about children who grow into adults with psychic abilities that is very vulnerable in a sense, because you come into a world full of capabilities and you enter into a world that is not receptive or even in denial of your capabilities or who you really are. And therefore, there is commonly in the childhood experience of psychically able adults the pressure to hide oneself. You have the phrase, hide thy light not under a bushel. And it was a permission to allow yourself to be who you are if you are a spiritually gifted person. However, often that message does not get through until much later in adulthood. And when it does get through, it involves a significant healing process for an adult to really recover from having spent over half a lifetime unable to fully shine or without feeling permission to fully shine. And in this sense, a child who is gifted can develop a sense of shame around their gifts, that they are doing something wrong, that they are making other people uncomfortable, that they are interpreting the world inappropriately. And it is better if they don't vocalize that, if they don't share that, if they keep that in. The biological effort to contain oneself, which often comes with shame, can take a toll on the body. And we would ask you to reflect with great generosity and kindness on your body that it was able to contain you when it felt that you were not safe. Now that you know that you are safe to shine, your body is in a relaxed enough place to let the physical wear and tear of those efforts manifest. It may be a process to bring yourself back into full alignment, but we would say keep digging for the core belief. It isn't necessarily anger, but you are not far off. And show appreciation to the ailment and to your body's response that it is insisting by not leaving you yet, that you keep looking. The reason that it wants you to keep looking is because at this time of integration, you have an opportunity to heal this part of your psychic self and your emotional body without transitioning, which is an exciting development on a human time frame. Does this help?
Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how much it helps. I know exactly now the things that are involved. And that I was, I must have repressed them from my
Yes.
childhood.
Yes.
And I will go back and create wholeness inside myself with the people involved and with myself and with my
Yes.
body. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
You are
That
so
was
welcome. And we would encourage you to, you may experience waves of contrast, including elation and sadness, as you go on this journey. And we would encourage you to allow yourself to take the time that you need to integrate these ideas, as often the recognition and realization can represent the first wave. However, there is still a process that needs to ensue, and that process is of integration. Be gentle with yourself. It is a healing opportunity. And if you are able to move through it, you should be able to find resolution. And that is a heroic effort, given that you are doing this all within one lifetime on one timeline. As we have said with Orion, we traveled through eons and millennia to get to that possibility.
I'm very excited. I can hardly wait to get started. I know exactly where to go. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
I have a question about my my brother died about 3 months ago. Are there any messages from him or anyone else who might like to get one through to me?
One moment.
Thank you.
We do see a man lying on a firm platform. The soul is lifted from his body and he is experiencing great relief. Great relief. He is in a process, an intermediary process, where he is having his life review. He is experiencing waves of gratitude, waves of love, unconditional love. In reviewing his life, he is communicating that there is a lot of emotion coming through. He is communicating that he is so grateful to have been on the timeline with you, that there were some things perhaps unresolved in your experience. You both walked such distinctive paths, but that he is integrating now with great love and appreciation all of those experiences. It is not a time yet for him to be able to come through, although he is sending his appreciation and warmth. There is a lot of emotion behind what he is feeling. And he is intending to contact you in ways that will be very obvious to you and more tangible to you within the period of 6 to 18 months after his transition. There is this 6-month window in which he is taking time to integrate some of his experiences. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. Luis?
I have two questions, and I'll be quick. The first question has to do with my mother. She's 93 years
Can't hear you, Luis.
Okay. Let me check what's going on. Okay, can you hear me now?
Volume up a
Hello?
little more. A little more. Yes.
A little more. Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
We got
Perfect.
the volume quite high. My mother is 93 years old, and she is going through
93.
the period right after having a head injury that appeared at the
Yes.
beginning to be very minor, where she started a process of hallucinations and has made contact with all her ancestors, as she described, that had passed, and a few
How
other
exciting.
attachments that the ancestors seem to have to other people. And what is troubling about this phase is that she is essentially living in a constant torment, because all the siblings in particular that used to be very loving towards her are now attacking her in many ways. And I've been observing this now for probably almost a year, almost. I've learned a lot of things that are deeply in her subconscious mind, but it still is rather baffling how the nature of the hallucinations, it goes beyond hallucination. Actually, she feels touch and feels heat, cold, and so forth.
Yes.
Continues to be very tormented.
Yes.
So my question is, what can I do? And what is there
Yes.
for me personally to resolve?
You will understand that she is slipping into different realities. That is why she is showing the physical characteristics of the experience. So, in a sense, while she is feeling it is cold when you are observing that the room temperature has not changed, that is because she is actually, part of her is actually in a different reality. She has completely moved out of one reality and into another and is moving around, which can be quite discombobulating. However, we would let you know that for her, it is not as distressing as it is for you to be looking at her, feeling that she is distressed. In one sense, she has developed a fluidity in her brain trauma that is allowing her to access the timelines, what you would consider memories and experiences, with the knowledge and wisdom that she has acquired in her lifetime, and attempt to reconcile and resolve them. It is quite a profound experience, even if it looks very chaotic. There is also people who are observing dementia and who really are very uncomfortable at the thought that the physical mind should lose so much control of the narrative. And we do understand that, but we would have you know that it is, again, less distressing for the individual in the situation, although we can see that there are distressing moments when one is juxtaposed from one reality into another and experiences that contrast. But overall, the experience is one of profoundly shifting realities, and the potential of integrating things that have been suppressed and not allowed to surface before this moment. It is important to recognize that the elders of your planet have, if you look at their life in the linear way, which is the way that you have designed the earth experience for human beings for the majority of existence, that they have traversed a great many realities. The world that they were born into is not the world that they exist in now. They are very practiced at moving through realities, but in nearly all of these realities, they accumulated what you would describe as traumatic experiences, because they were living in communities that felt isolated, that felt despairing, and that felt cut off from the true knowledge of who they really are and their true history. Therefore, whilst you had communities that created cohesion in that context, family life in that context, there was a lot of suppressing going on. There was a lot of trauma going on. And the opportunity for that to surface really is happening at warp speed in 2024. You are seeing people coming into a crashing collision with unintegrated experiences and recognition of all that lies suppressed within them. And that is part of coming into awareness of the creative power of your vessel, your heart, your higher mind, your soul, and your physical mind, when they are operating without pollution, but suppressed memories, hidden traumas, painful narratives can operate to act as clogs or obstacles in the machinery of your inner creative power. And so the attempt to integrate and reconcile, reflect on, and reimagine these experiences is a path of healing. And we will tell you, healing does often look a little bit messy. If you think of the process of giving birth, physically, it is quite confronting, indeed shocking on one level. That doesn't mean that it isn't one of the most profound miracles available to you on your planet, but it is indeed messy, sometimes risky, and uncomfortable to watch. That is how expansion happens. That is how life happens. And we would encourage you to act as a support for your elder by allowing her to go through the process, steadying her when and where you can, but not allowing yourself to become traumatized or in too much discomfort in watching her, because then she has to integrate that. Allow her to sense that you are a consistent and safe expression of stability for her, and that you are allowing of her to go through this quite miraculous process as she draws near the end of her timeline of integrating all of her events and experiences, so that when she transitions, it'll be a smooth. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Have I provided her with the stability
Yes,
that she
indeed.
needs?
We are
Thank you.
seeing an imagery of your grandmother is watching a film. The scenes keep changing in a disjointed way. She is trying to keep up, but when she establishes herself in one narrative, the film changes again and she is thrown into another one. It is quite a chaotic experience, but she is experiencing all sorts of emotions in that, including love, joy, nostalgia, warmth, friendship, intimacy, and yes, of course, some jarring, some pain, and some sadness. As she is going through that, she is aware of a soft, warm light behind her. We are seeing you standing behind her, watching her while she watches the screen. And from this corner, she can feel a soft, warm light that is very soothing to her in the more uncomfortable or jarring moments of her ride. You are emanating love for her in your compassion for her discomfort, and she senses that. And that is part of the anchor that is allowing her to give herself over to the experience. If you weren't there in that sense, physically and energetically, she would not be able to be having this experience in the same way. She would feel really too adrift. Does that help?
Thank you. Thank you so much. It helps a lot.
You are
Thank
so
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Zariyah, Bonnie would like to have you clarify a little bit about, you mentioned destructive power earlier. Can you say a
Yes.
little bit more about that, please?
Yes, you have, of course, in existence or potentials. And some of those potentials are expansive, connected creativity. Some of those potentials are disconnected, reducing, destructive potentials. Of course, we say that the point of power is that you know that you have the potential to choose any of those preferences just by lining up with them. But it is true in the Orion system, we did not understand that we could choose something else. We did not understand how. We did have some type of urge to recreate our reality, but we did not know how to do that in an empowered way. So instead, we matched the destructive vibration. We created something called the Black League, which mounted resistance efforts, which ultimately mirrored the destructive energy of those we felt were oppressing us. And by mirroring them, we only reinforced our entanglement with their dynamic, which was the opposite of what we wanted to achieve. Therefore, although it took many millennia, slowly we understood that in order to generate the reality that we wanted, we had to not fight our way through the darkness to the light, but we needed to generate the light inside of us and fan that out. You have a saying by a Mr. King on your planet. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. And that is a recognition of the Orion realization that while there are beings on your planet / in your universe who do preference darker, more destructive forces, you are in no way beholden to them unless you engage with them in an energetic reflection. What we learned in Orion was that you have within you the creative power to generate anything you want, even from the darkest depths of a destructive energy. You can grow a light that can shine so bright that you can remove yourself from that reality because it will fall away from you. The darkness will actually recede quite easily as you grow your light. It isn't a struggle. It isn't a war. It is an artistic endeavor. It is a joy. It is a generation of peace.
So the destruction is only in physical realities?
It is an energetic force. So yes, it can exist within a human psyche. It can exist within a soul's preference. It is an inner experience and an outer reflection of that experience. But remember, you choose your inner experience. Certainly, darkness cannot set upon you and hold you prisoner. Darkness can pose an option and you can choose to meet it, but you can also choose not to. It really is that simple. It is very important also that there is darkness in the universe. It is the yin and yang. It is the perfect balance. It is the symmetry. It is the space in which the universe can become existent. There are many dark corners of your planet and your body. Think of the womb, where there is creative potential. So it is not a question of rejecting darkness. That is rejecting a part of source itself. It is learning to live in harmony with darkness and learning to create your own preference inside yourself and accepting with love all that is and all that source is and all that you are in a harmonious co-creation, in a dance. Does
Thank
that
you.
make sense?
Yes. Miles?
Indeed.
see. Okay, there we go. In talking to my wife this evening, I was saying that there is only one river of energy in this, in reality. And the river of energy is the pure positive energy of love that courses through everything in being.
Yes,
And
a very
she,
eloquent description.
well, thank you very much. And she felt like, well, there's a river of negative energy. And I tried to explain that we individually can create enormous power in negative energy, in negative focus,
Yes,
because
indeed.
we're all it is. Nevertheless, the energy that pulses out from all that is and creates reality each instant is the pure positive energy of love.
Yes. Yes,
So,
indeed.
so negative, and so just to pursue that a little, in my mind, and the way I'm trying to understand this is that people can, everything follows the law of attraction. So negative thoughts go out, associate with other negative thoughts. If we put our emotion into it, we create a vibrational pathway that can connect with that. If we
Yes.
habitually, we can connect with that even easier. We can slide into that. However, all that is in a context that when we turn our focus and align with who we are at our core, we can still energetically move into a very positive energy, because that's
Yes.
what, okay, thank you.
We would add to that often the usage of the adjectives negative and positive can be misleading. There is the duality and the neutrality that exists in all things. You have the light, dark, and neutral or gray area, as you like to describe it. But in all of these things, there is source in all of them. Therefore, in what you would consider the darkest chapter of the darkest moment, of the darkest hour, of the darkest being, on the darkest day in your planet, there was unconditional love and source energy, because source is everything and accepts itself as a reflection of itself in everything. While a being might not be experiencing itself as source in that moment, source never experiences a being as not of itself. Source infuses everything, light, neutral, dark, or as you would describe as positive and negative. Often when you are talking about creating positive experiences, you are referring to not only alignment with unconditional love, although that's part of it, but you are talking about alignment with certain emotional vibrational frequency ranges, such as joy, adventure, kindness, generosity, humor, camaraderie, romance. All of these are good feeling vibrations and often described as positive, but really it is just a preference for what you would call good feeling vibrations that you are choosing to align with. What you would consider dark is a valid experience. In fact, it is a crucial experience to expansion. If we look at the Orion civilization, we understood our creative potential as a result of being separate from it for so long. And the exhilaration, the elation of coming into alignment with that creative potential was facilitated by being in the quote unquote dark for so long. So therefore you can see that dark has the potential to expand your experience of light to heights you perhaps never could have conceived possible. In that way, we then migrated to Maldeck, we migrated to Mars, and we migrated to Earth. All of these potentials that were so creative and so expansive have been a result of the eons of darkness of the Orion system. Had it never been that way, it would never be this way. And so therefore you can come more and more into resonance with the idea that it is all source. Light and dark is all unconditional love. And in that spectrum of expressions of unconditional love, you can choose the feeling vibration that most resonates with your preference. Does that make sense?
That was magnificent. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Quick one from Louise.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm starting a new phase of my interaction with my other fellow beings. I like to do some work groups, I guess I'm going to call them, in which I try to take people in what I call a journey into expanding soul consciousness.
Yes.
Using very, very practical things.
How exciting.
Helping them to experience. And so, in fact, I'm scheduled already to start at a metaphysical center in the physical person to person to do this. And to be honest with you, I'd like it to be an ongoing series. So where does it lead? I have no idea. I'm just starting it.
Yes.
But in general, this thing about journey to the soul is something that that I feel that is very fundamental. And that I'd like to make this contribution, and I like any input or comment that can come from your guidance.
Yes. The intuition that you have to journey to the soul is indeed profound and exciting. And there are beings that are eager to work with you. You will find that groups like these today and groups that you are looking to set up are going to grow in number as people become more aware of the multidimensional nature of reality. One tip we would give you is that it's not journey to the soul as if the soul was one destination. It is a journey into revelation of what your soul actually is, that it is a hall of doors and mirrors. It is far more expansive and intriguing and multidimensional than you have considered it historically in the frameworks that it has been used on in your planet, such as religious frameworks. You have in doctrines and dogma described the soul as some quintessential essence to you as a singular human being. But if you think about yourself as connected through your soul, through that portal, to your counterparts, to your galactic brethren, to your hybrid family, to your multidimensional self, then you start to understand that the soul is a very mysterious connective portal that is not just about you in this physical incarnation, but it is about you in multiple realities and incarnations. The soul is what we would describe as the power board of where all of the, for want of a better word, electricity comes from for all of your various incarnations and counterparts. therefore journey into revelation of what that is very exciting. And we might add, never ending.
Never ending. Thank you.
You
Beautiful.
are so welcome.
Thank you.
An hour's gone by, Ace. Or Zariyah, thank you.
We thank you for allowing us this transmission, and from the Orion light to the future of the 6th hybrid race, we bid you good day.
Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all.
Thanks, guys.
We have a lot of latecomers.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know. Oh, poor Samir. I was like, oh, will he even see? It's like 6:30 in India.
How come it started early? And what is it? You changed the time?
Yes, because I was just trying to accommodate, because it would be 10 p.m. in the United States. And so I was
Okay.
just trying to accommodate that, but I'll see if I can make a more amenable time to everybody moving forward. It's kind of a tricky one to figure out, because I can do it only on some days in the daytime. And, yeah, we just have to see, like, maybe I'll do like a little poll or something.
Just
To
do
try
what's
and
best
see.
for you, and we will fall in line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
9
it's
or
okay.
10 or 11, they're all
I
fine.
think if you want to start a little early, it's okay.
Oh, Sumi,
It's
poor
just that
thing.
I need to get up a little more early. It's okay. I guess because I'm the only kind of odd one out over here in terms of timing, but I think it'll accommodate most of the people.
Maybe we could do maybe we'll do 12:30 my time till 1:30. Then it's a little bit early. Then it's a little bit more, so that would be 7 your time, I think, Samir.
That's okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Well,
And what
thank
would
you
that
so
be
much,
our
guys.
time,
There was so
Ray?
much. Sorry, what was that?
I asked Ray what time that would be our time.
Well, it would be a half hour later than we started today.
9:30.
Okay, so it would be 9:30
Yes.
for
Is
me.
that too?
and
Is that too?
8:30 for you.
The reason I feel like it's too late is because after 7 p.m. I am like, I just cannot stay awake. So I don't know. And I feel like if I had needed to attend something at 10 p.m., I would be absolutely toast.
The energy that you emanate will keep me awake for sure.
Oh, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, thank
Ditto
you so
here.
much. Thank you for coming. I haven't met you before. Lewis, is it?
Luis, yeah.
Louise, lovely to
yeah.
meet you. And Bruce,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming. That's fantastic. Thank you.
It's my
And
honor.
we
Really
saw-
appreciate that.
Hi,
Hi.
Wissam.
Hi, Myers. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
hi.
sent,
Hello,
I sent
hi.
a
It's
note
so
out to my
lovely to
group.
meet you. How you doing? Thank you so much.
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you
Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming. Really, I'm so grateful to everybody who comes. It's such an amazing opportunity for me to get to practice channeling. So thank you so much.
Well, it's been really amazing for me to experience. I've only been 3 times, but I appreciate you as well.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. Thank you for coming. Yeah, it just blows me away, like every week that I get to do this, so I'm super grateful. But if you knew how boring my job is now that I had to go back to, you would feel sorry for me.
Well, energy to you.
I better go. Thank you so much, and have a lovely
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you for
Yeah.
Thank you,
coming.
everyone.
Ray, are we catching up now? Ray,
I'm
are we
gonna go,
catching up
guys.
after this?
Well, Jenny would have to start the Zoom meeting, right, on her email.
So is Jenny sharing it in the group?
I had set it for an hour later.
Can
But
we do
I
it
can
right
go
away?
in and try to change the time on it.
Yeah. So if we
But
could,
I don't know if
just
that would, I don't know if that would, can you go back in and change the time on a
yes,
future
yes, you can. You just
without
start the
changing
meeting.
the
That's it.
link?
Yeah,
You can
just
just say
start
start
it
it
at any
now.
time, correct?
Yeah, just to Shamir's point, just start it. And we'll
Yeah,
be
just
there.
start it.
Okay, so we'll all go back to Jenny.
So Jenny's this. So will you share it? How will you share the link?
So
I don't have her
Luis,
email
what this
ID.
is about is, we're gonna have a meeting after the meeting to talk about the meeting.
Yeah. This is
That
a
you
meeting
guys
for the
missed.
meeting. This is to
So-
make the notes of the meeting.
So,
and
Ray,
we
can
saw
you
the same
post,
thing.
Ray, can you post it on the chat? Or maybe I
So if
can.
we can post it here, anyone new also would like to join, we can add them off,
Sure. Love to.
Yeah, I would like to join, but I'm sure Ray can share the link with me. Is that okay
Well,
if I
I
Yeah.
need to post it. Oh, Ray, do you
Okay.
have,
Well,
does Ray have
if
your
you have
email
it,
address?
Jenny, that would be
I
great.
will
I'm
get
looking
it.
it up.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'll get it
Thank you.
sent.
It's a race.
you want me to just put my email
Is
into
that
the
what it
chat
is?
here? Would that
I'm
work?
gonna post it on chat.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
so can you copy that, everybody?
Oh, have you
I
got it?
can, yeah.
Oh, yay.
Got
Okay, so I'll go
Got
in, give
that.
me 5 minutes or so to change the
Sure.
time on it.
Just start the meeting, Jenny. You don't have to, get worked
I
up
don't have to
about it.
change
Just
the
start
start
it. Just
time?
start. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alright.
No, just start meeting. That's it.
All right, here I go. Oops.
Well, we have to get out of this meeting though.
I
Right.
think
Yes.
we
Thank
can
you,
we have to
everyone.
do
Get
a
out
meeting.
in order.
We have to
Yeah,
do a
we have
leave
to
and
get out of
join.
this to get on to that.
Yeah, we'll
Every
have to
time
get
I
out
go to
Everybody have a-
Zoom,
Right.
every time I go to Zoom, I go here.
Right, does everybody have the link? Because we have to cancel this meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah, I
just
just
copy
copied
it.
it.
Everyone,
Yes,
please copy the
perfect.
link. Then
Copy the
rather than
link
just
because it's
clicking
going to go
Right.
bye-bye.
Right.
Okay, tell me when.
it. Give me a second. Just copy paste it somewhere, on a notepad or something like that, and then come
Yeah.
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
Ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody
Or
ready?
So we
be
leave
on
here and we'll meet
Facebook
in the
or-
next one.
Bober, Bober just joined, I think.
Yes, I